Hello everyone, here in this practice we are going to learn how to use user underscore objects data dictionary view and all underscore objects data dictionary view to retrieve information about the objects that you own or the objects that you can access. So as we learned before, user underscore objects is a data dictionary view that can be used to retrieve information about the objects that you own. So here we are connecting to the database using HR underscore connection. HR underscore connection used HR user to connect to the database. That means if you query user underscore objects data dictionary view, you will get all objects that owned by HR user. If you are connecting to the database, for example, using system underscore connection, which used system user to connect to the database, and you query user underscore objects, you will get all objects owned by system user. So here we have two simple practices. Query the user underscore objects data dictionary view to see information about the objects that you own. So let us first describe user underscore objects data dictionary view. Click run, and here we go. These are the columns in user underscore objects data dictionary view. We have object name, we have here object type, we have created, we have the status. These are the most important columns in the user underscore objects data dictionary view. So let us write a query. Select object underscore name, select the object type and the created and also the status from user underscore objects. So here if we run the select statement, we are expecting the objects owned by HR user. Click run, and here we go. So as we can see, these are the objects owned by the HR user. Here we have regions, which is a table. Here we have, for example, countries, also a table. Here we have locations underscore sec, which is a sequence. Here we have jobs, which is a table. As we can see, we have 44 objects owned by HR user. We can filter the output, for example, by using where condition. We can filter the output if we want to retrieve, for example, only the tables. We can write where object underscore type equal, for example, table. Make sure to write table in capital letter. Run the statement again, and here we go. These are all tables owned by HR user: regions, countries, locations, departments, jobs, employees, job history, and so on. We can filter the output if we want to retrieve only the indexes, for example, index, and run the statement again. So these are all indexes created on the tables owned by HR user. So this is how to use user underscore objects data dictionary view to retrieve information about all objects that you own. If you are connecting to the database as HR user, you will retrieve all objects owned by HR user. If you are connecting to the database as system user, you will get all objects owned by system user, and so on. So in the second practice, query the all underscore objects data dictionary view to see information about the objects that you can access. The difference between user underscore objects and all underscore objects: here in user underscore objects, you can get only the objects that you own. That you own means you are the owner of these objects. All underscore objects, you can retrieve information about all objects that you own, plus the objects that you have permissions to access them. So if you describe all underscore objects data dictionary view and click here run. So here, as we can see, there is a column called owner. In user underscore objects, there is no column called owner, because user underscore objects retrieve information about the objects that you own. That means you are the owner of these objects. But all underscore objects, you can retrieve information about all objects that you can access. That means the objects that you own and the objects that you have permissions to access them. So if you select from all underscore objects, select owner, for example, object underscore name, object underscore type, created, for example, status from all underscore objects. If you run the select statement, So these are all the objects that you can access, the objects that you own and the objects owned by other users that you have permission to access them. So if you order the output, for example, by the owner and run the statement again, so if you go down here, you can see HR user. So this is HR user. So these are the objects that you own because you are connecting as HR user to the database. So these are the objects that you own. As we can see, the owner is HR. Other objects owned by other user, as we can see, for example, this object, for example, is a view, and this is the object name or the view name, and owned by CTX sys user. So that means HR user has access permission on this view owned by this user. So as we can see, all underscore objects data dictionary view retrieve all objects that you can access, the objects that you own plus the objects owned by other users, and you have permissions to access them. So in this practice, we learn how to query user underscore objects and all underscore objects data dictionary view to retrieve information about the objects that you own or the objects that you can access. I hope this video was informative for you, and thank you for watching.